No.
You got more into this?
Tell Eddie that I sent him the link now. Do you know Eddie at all? I'm sure you do, right?
I've been around him and stuff, but it's not like I don't have like a huge relationship with him though. But like I've been around him. So we've talked, you know.
Right.
But.
Okay, so we are rolling. We are live. We're about to get to the draft right now. I am joined by multi-time championship coach Dave Francis, also podcaster with the chat room, Ravens fan, Laker fan.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We are ready to go.
Ready to get into it. I'm really excited for today, man, because Lakers traded into the draft, so I'm excited.
Yeah, baby,
so
35.
35. So to me, that means that they're trying, like in my head, I think they're trying to make a move. So they picked up a draft pick. Hopefully, they can move Westbrook, THT, maybe that 2027 first round draft pick, this year's second round draft pick. I'm hoping they can, have some magic today. As a Laker fan.
Yeah, I want to go put your hopes that high on that today. And if not, like I will say, like the one thing for the Lakers is you can say a lot of stuff about us the last few years. We know how to draft.
Oh yeah, for sure.
We know how to draft, especially in the later rounds. If you look at the later rounds for the Lakers in some of these drafts, whether it be a Larry Nance, a Thomas Bryant, a Jordan Clarkson, and then even more recently, I know you mentioned THT, but THT and then Austin Reeves undrafted last year. Alex Caruso's undrafted. Mac McClung, who was the G League MVP, I believe.
Yeah, but like the thing with the Lakers are very different than every other NBA franchise. Because you look at Boston, you look at Miami, you look at San Antonio, all these teams, they draft really well and then they develop their draft picks. Like they develop them and then they give them time to grow. And then, like they acquire pieces that fit that. Like all those teams do that. Whereas the Lakers, they draft super. You look at the Lakers draft pick, you look at Brandon Ingram, All-Star, D'Angelo Russell, great player. Julius Randle was like, was he an all-star? I think he was all-star.
He's all-star and all second team last year, I believe.
Yeah, you look Julius Randle. You look at Larry Nance, who kind of had an up and down career, but he's a
Josh Hart,
Jordan Clarkson. All these guys are drafted from the Lakers, right? And the thing is that Lakers just want to win now. Like especially when you pick up a guy like LeBron James, like they did in 2018. The moment he signs that contract, your clock is ticking.
Yeah.
So you have to kind of make moves to put your franchise in a position to win now.
Yeah.
That's what they did. They went out, and I think they gave up too much for Anthony Davis, but we
definitely did.
Gave up too much for AD, but we got a ring out of it. So
yes, we did.
It's worth it, but gave up.
Got a new coach now. I haven't asked on Wax your thoughts on Coach Ham.
I don't like. I've seen him as a player, like on Pistons and stuff, and he's a big physical dude. He's everything that I've read or that I've seen about him is that he's
defense first.
Yeah, defense first. But like everything that I've read about him has said that like he's a player's coach, but he's also somebody who's highly respected. So those are all things that are positive to me, but I would have much rather somebody who's established. I'm not a huge Doc Rivers fan at all. Like I think the one team that he had success with was that Boston team with KG and stuff, but that was a team with veterans who knew how to win and wanted to win. I don't know who I would have rather. Like maybe I would have rather Mark Jackson, as you and I were talking previously. Maybe I would have rather Mark Jackson. But I don't know much about Darvin Ham to have like a really solid opinion on him. Just at this point, I'm like, okay, well, Braun likes him. I guess we'll kind of just rock with that. But Braun's track record of people that he likes doesn't really work out that well with the Lakers.
No, I don't think we can go with that going forward. So Adam Silver just on the panel here. So for those that we have a little bit of viewership right now. for those that are watching us live or those that are just going to listen back to the audio after, we're not, and I guess I didn't even go over this with you, Dave. We're not doing all 30 picks. We're going to do the lottery, and then we're going to go enjoy our nights. So we're going to do the lottery, and then we're going to we're hit the high road.
I'm cool with that. I think we'll have 2 Canadians drafted in the lottery today.
I think so. And that's one of the cool things about potentially, hopefully having Eddie Richardson on here soon is no one has really seen Shaedon Sharpe play. He went to Kentucky and he practiced a lot, but no one's really got a chance to see him play. So we'll have to see that. Who would you take? And I'm gonna stay off Twitter for most of this because I don't want to see and Woj tell me who's picked 5 minutes beforehand. I like the surprise of it. Who do you think should be the number 1 pick?
It's tough, man. Like I really like I've said all year. I think Chet is the best player in college basketball. To me, he's the best player in college basketball. The only thing that the biggest thing that concerns me is that will his body translate to NBA basketball? Will that physicality translate to the NBA? I don't know. Like if you look at everybody before him who has been highly skilled, but like the lower half of the body is kind of slim. They've all struggled early on. KD struggled early on. Porzingis struggled early on. All these guys, like they're highly skilled. But if I was to go and pick, I'd probably pick the kid from Auburn. What's his name? Jabari?
Yeah. Jabari. I personally, I like Paulo the most.
Paulo is really good too. He's really good too.
Because the NBA is about wings now, right? It's about wing. It's about having a wing. So like,
the only thing with Paulo with me is that he seems to like you need guys who are dogs, in my opinion. Like you need guys who are gonna go out and get it and are just dogs. And Paulo seems too indecisive, too laid back, too chill. Like he seems like he can be like a Ben Simmons kind of player who just super talented, but he's just I'm just here because I'm skilled at basketball. You know, like if I'm picking somebody first overall, I want somebody who I know they don't like losing. They're dogs, they're leaders, you know, like that's why I'm gonna pick first overall, especially with the Magic. Like the Magics have been so bad in drafting. Like you need somebody.
Yeah, they got lucky getting Dwight a few years ago. It took them to a championship. But really the last 2 years they've been better.
I like Jalen Suggs.
They got Jalen Suggs. Franz Wagner was very good last year. And before that, Cole Anthony was good. So the last 2 years, better. But you still have to deal with the Mo Bambas, who is attached to our Lakers, which I hate. I do not like that. But he's attached to them right now as a potential destination for him. Jonathan Isaac was okay, but the injuries derailed him. It's not. You have pieces there for Orlando. Like they'll be able to this offseason, you know, having Markelle, having RJ Hampton, having Cole, having Suggs. You have 4 point guards there, right? Like they can move those guys out.
That was quick. Damn, that was a minute. That was quick. But Woj has said that the first 3 picks are pretty much locked. According to him, he said the first 3 picks are pretty much locked. But like if I was Orlando, I think Jabari is like.
By the way, this clock is way faster than the NFL clock. Holy hell!
For sure. NFL is like, but
10 minutes.
I love watching NFL drafts though. Like it's like all the fans and like the random people who they get to announce the drafts. Like I like that. It brings personality to the draft. NBA draft seems very business-like, professional business. Very much. I think Jabari's gonna go first overall. I think Jabari's gonna go first.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think the order will be Jabari, Chet, and then Paulo, and then we wait to see what Sacramento does. Jaden Ivey, I think, has the potential to be the second best player here.
He's solid, but he's so gifted, and he's a dog. The problem is with Sacramento. They already have a ball dominant guard who they want the ball in their hands. Like they moved out Tyrese, and they kind of gave the keys to Fox. Now it's like, are you going to bring another ball dominant guard in that rotation? I don't know. If I was Sacramento, I would try to trade up. Try and trade up.
Down, you mean? Oh, trade up, yeah. I don't know what they have the pieces. I mean, We've seen some people try to trade down to them. The one thing so watching a lot of tape on Jaden, I like him a lot, and I watched some games of him. He does the one thing I don't like players doing, and this is where the college level. There's a lot of this, a lot of clap, a lot of happy hands, which I'm sure you've had a lot of players like that. And it's good. It's good because he's a confident shooter. He's a confident player, but that stuff's not going to fly in the NBA. That stuff is not going to fly in the NBA at all.
Depending on what team you're on, like if he can step into Sacramento, he can step into OKC right away day one, and he'll be one of the top 3 players on that team. Day one, you can see he steps into Sacramento, and it's him, De'Aaron Fox. They're the leaders of the franchise. He can step into OKC right now, and it's him and Shea. Day one, so, but he can't go to like Atlanta or whatever and do that, Trae Young is already established there, but
so keep in mind, Dave, I think you're about 20 seconds ahead of me here.
Am I? Okay.
Just to keep that in mind.
I'm at 120 right now. Adam Silver's walking
up. Yeah, he just came out. So we wait for the first pick.
The first pick in the 2022 NBA draft. The Orlando Magic select.
Yes! I knew it!
Wow.
That's the pick. I'm telling you, that's the pick.
Paolo. I'm surprised.
I believe Paolo is the best talented player in it. I get what you're saying with the dog stuff. Because at the end of that Carolina Duke game, it was Kells and Roach that were getting a lot of buckets. But I think the NBA now is so about wings, right? And we saw that in these finals, right? With what Jason Tatum did, Wiggins did. And I think that's what Orlando looks at. They look at where they are for their height, right? Having, Wendell Carter, having Jonathan Isaac. And they probably felt like Paolo was the guy that they needed to go for. A rare time I cheer for a Duke player too, by the way, there. That's not going to happen much tonight.
I was going to say, in my head, I'm like, wait, aren't you a Carolina fan?
Oh, I am a Carolina fan. I'm just glad I got the pick right, and I won some money from gambling for it. I think that means that both of us assume that Chet is definitely going to OKC.
I think so. Like, Chet, even though I think Jabari is more NBA ready, I think Chet fits OKC. Like, he's not a big personality guy. Like, OKC is like a small town. Like, they want guys who are just going to work. He's come from Gonzaga. Anyone who's been by Gonzaga or to Gonzaga and Spokane, Washington knows that that's a very small town. Like, you can walk to like the high school gym and see John Stockton in the gym. Like, it's a very low key town. And I think Chet will fit right in.
Well, especially having a guy like Giddey there. But as far as, Paolo now, so they get their wing and they have to pair him and Franz Wagner together. So that's a really nice combination there in the front court there. And then I guess now the question is they'll probably let Mo Bamba go, I'm assuming. Wow. That's not ideal.
I don't know about that comparison.
So if you're them, like, if you're Orlando, these are not.
Wow, this is not.
Playmaking. I mean, again, like, let's not disrespect Ben too much. Like, this guy was an All NBA player a year ago.
Sure.
But if you're them now, like, you have a Jonathan Isaac and Mo Bamba there, you're gonna probably let Mo Bamba walk. I'm guessing at this point. Are you trying to trade Jonathan Isaac now and just kind of build around this core around Wendell Carter, Paolo, Franz, Jalen, and maybe Cole?
If I, because this is a big first round pick. This is a big first overall pick. Like nobody really, well, besides you called it, but nobody really saw Paulo going first overall. Like, he wasn't on the boards for going first overall.
People thought that Paulo was the most talented player, but everybody had either Jabari or Chet going to first
overall. Yeah, exactly. So for Orlando to make that reach, we'll see if it's a reach or not. But for them to make the selection, like, they're going all in with this, like this is the all-in pick right now. So I think with that being said, you let Mo Bamba walk, and you try and off Jonathan Isaacs for whatever you can get. Maybe you can get a second round pick. Maybe you can get cash considerations, like whatever, or a late first round pick, whatever. Like, I don't think you get a late first round pick for him because he's just coming off of that the knee injury and stuff. So I don't think you get a late first round, but you can get something for him. Like, he's a wing player who can shoot it. Like, always giving.
There was some stuff around him too. He didn't kneel and all that kind of stuff. I don't want to bring that up there, but I know some teams were already kind of hesitant and not favorites of not doing that. And I know you talked about religious reasons and all that kind of stuff. We're not going to get into it, but I know some teams in the past were not a fan of that.
For sure.
So,
no, this is a good pick. What are your thoughts on his suit, though, man?
He's got a Prince vibe, eh?
It does got
the Prince vibe. Yeah, it's got like some Purple Rain going.
Yeah, it does.
He's got a definite Purple Rain feeling. Yeah, I mean, the order I had here was Paulo and then Chet and then Houston. I thought could maybe jump up and take Jaden. The Houston pick becomes interesting because they can go for Jabari. He's great, but they may just say screw it and let's just do a backcourt of Jaden and Jalen. They very well could.
That could be really good. The problem is that they're identical players.
I know. That's the problem.
So it's like, I mean, like it could be very devastating. Like you got two really super highly athletic and competitive guards. Like it could work really well. But I think Houston, especially since they just moved Christian Wood, I think they go after Jabari because
Jabari, it's the safest pick for them to build. You have the inside outside there with Jabari. I mean, but the question is, I guess, for them too. I mean, you just take the best player available because Victor Wembanyama next year. This guy is the next like Zion level number one pick. Next year. So I know a team like Houston, even OKC, I suppose they're predicting we're going to be back here next year and we're going to hope to be in the Victor sweepstakes. I think the Pacers, that's a team that's going to be in that as well. That they're going to hope that they are. Sacramento, hoping they're not going to be one of those teams.
Sacramento is just a perennial lottery picking team. Like I'm just convinced that they're going to be there.
All right, let's see what we got. It's Chet time.
I think it's Chet.
2022 NBA Draft. The Oklahoma City Thunder select Chet.
Okay, Chet Holmgren. So
sense.
that's probably the best OKC pick in a long time. Probably, I guess, since James Harden.
Since James Harden and Durant,
now I see. We talked about like teams that could be in the Victor thing. They're not going to be great, but that's a nice core. That's a team that's going to be like a sneaky play-in team now because you got Dort, you got SGA, you got Giddey, and you got Chet there now. That is a sneaky team, and he's back. Sorry, they showed Jalen there, so I was thinking he's playing with Jalen again. But yeah, SGA. I mean, SGA could be an all-star next year for all we know.
Solid.
Yeah.
The only thing that held him SGA back this year was that he missed games, injury, and OKC just wasn't that good, right? So SGA is solid, and then SGA is going to be playing this summer with Team Canada, so he's going to get some reps in. He's like starting next year, he's going to be ready to go. I like this.
This
pick.
is the guy that you thought was number one too. You thought Chet was the best player that you saw. Okay,
I think so. Yeah, in NCAA, like I was most impressed with him all year. I was most like as I said.
I thought he just disappeared a little bit for some of those tournament games, but as you see here too, like it's a 7-foot guy that has great. I mean, the wingspan. How many times you're going to hear that tonight? But then he can shoot the 3-2 and is not a bad defensive player.
Yeah, he's a willing defender. Like he's a willing defender. He's willing to get up there and compete. My only concern with him is just his body. He's what 7 feet, like 180. Like I don't know if he's 180, but like. He's not very big, man. He's not very big at all. So that's concerning. And like, where is he going to play? He can't play the 5 in the NBA.
Well, let's take a chance here. I'm going to go look at the OKC depth chart really quick here as we get going here. I mean, I that was the right pick for them. Jabari was not the right pick at that point for them. Chet was the right pick. Chet has the most upside in this entire draft. Yeah. But I think people do question the body size and all that as well with him.
They have his NBA draft comparison as KP. Like that's right on. I think KP is exactly what he is.
And then, the other guy has Giannis.
Stop this, man. He's not Giannis. Stop this.
That's a little bit much.
Yeah, even Giannis coming in at 18, like you didn't know he was gonna be this.
No,
you knew that he was gonna go in there and compete. Like his mannerisms, like he was going there, they're gonna go there and compete. I don't know.
So this is kind of what they have right now. So right where they have Isaiah Roby, that's probably where Chet's going to be, right?
I mean,
And then
could be there, but you don't want Chet playing the 5 in the NBA.
you want him at the 4 just the way
You
he
want
can
him at the
stretch, like
4.
almost like an AD.
Yeah, you want him at the 4. Him playing at the 5, he's gonna have to bang with guys.
Yeah.
That's just to me, it's a recipe for disaster for him playing the 5. Well, at this,
Well, I guess you could put Derek Favors too. You could put Derek
Derek
Favors at the 5 because he's got that veteranship and the muscle on him.
size, yeah.
Yeah. That and they got Jermichael Green too. So Jermichael Green can also play the 5 a little bit and the 4.
5, yeah.
Yeah.
I like their guards are pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
There is Baisley is kind of hit or miss. Like some games, he's an athletic 4, hit or miss. Like I don't know. Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, they have to maybe do a little bit more on the off season here of adding to a little bit because now if you're OKC, you still have all these picks too, right? From trades and whatnot.
From now until 2050, it seems like.
Yeah. But this is going to be a team that's going to potentially be good enough to be a play-in type of team next year. I don't know if they'll be in the Victor sweepstakes next year with the team they have. Maybe I guess they'll still probably be a lottery team though, right? This isn't a team that's making the playoffs.
No, I don't think it's a playoff team unless Shea has like a huge season. Unless like Chet is like rookie of the year nomination or candidate. Like I don't see them. The West is going to be stacked next year, man. The West is going to be tough. You got Clippers coming back.
I guess what I'm saying is, yep.
Clippers coming back. You got who knows what happens with Lakers? Like,
yep. Zion back to the Pelicans.
Yeah, it's like Pelicans coming back. Like the West is gonna be really good, really good next year. So I don't see them as
like
the playing team.
Jabari's on the phone smiling, so I think Jabari is about to be a Houston Rocket.
Yeah, that's a really good pickup for them, especially since they just lost Christian Wood.
Yeah,
this is a really safe pickup for them if this is what's happening.
And then we mentioned too, like some of these teams, some teams are intentionally going to just be like, let's just develop players next year because we're going after Victor. And Houston is right in that territory of like, hey, we just want to try to get
best player available.
We just want to try to get the best player available. Like we said, like if they got Jaden, that would be really, really cool. Yeah, just the firepower, the back there. But yeah.
Highlights that would be a very explosive team, very explosive.
So we wait now for this Houston pick right now, and maybe in a bit of downtime we'll talk about the Kevin Durant and Kyrie situation. Maybe after this Houston pick, this comes in, and what's going on there. But
I think he'll be gone.
Yeah, that's the last time I saw there was a Eric Gordon. In fact, this is the one time I probably will check Twitter because I'm assuming we already know who's going here. Mm-hmm. There's no other trade stuff just yet.
What's going on? Surprising.
Nah, I think we just got to get past these 3 because, like you were even saying there, Dave, we had to get past that point of the top 3, and then let's get this official.
The Houston Rockets select Jabari Smith.
Yeah, it makes sense.
There you go.
Makes sense. That's
so Jabari went from potentially him and Paulo pretty much switched spots.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No, this is a good pick for them. Good pick for them. Now is where
the draft starts.
Now is where the fun happens. Yeah. Now is where.
Yeah. Now we see if Sacramento is. Are they going to keep the pick and take Jaden? Are they going to take the risk and taking Shaedon Sharpe? Or are they going to take Keegan Murray and have another big?
Shaedon, that would be that. Like Shaedon has the most upside in the draft.
And anyone, even Paulo.
Yeah. He has the most upside in the draft. The problem is that nobody has seen him play against competition. Anybody. Yeah. Like I've watched his like AAU stuff where he was just dominating guys. Like with I watched that stuff, clips of that, but he's not going to get up against like NBA ready guys.
Well, do you want to talk about that, Dave? Just like when you're like recruiting players, right? And like if you have like limited time on them, like what kind of thought process goes through as you're like having limited time to scout a player or a limited view on them? Like what's the next option for you?
The biggest thing is looking at your roster and being honest with your roster and seeing where they fit in, because you don't want to go out and like say you're gonna draft a guy or recruit a guy, pick up a guy or whatever, and you're kind of just having him sit behind guys, you know, like with myself, it's kind of like, okay, well, first thing you want to do is make sure you pick up the best player available. Like what we've done at State for a long time is just best player available and then figure out the rest later, you know. But I don't know. It's tough. It's tough, man. It's tough.
So taking a look quickly at the
wow.
At Sharif.
Sharif is a quarterback.
I can see the Sharif thing from looking at tape at him this week. I can see some Sharif in him. And so the depth chart there, I mean, Eric Gordon, like you and I both said, I don't think Eric Gordon will be a Rocket by the end of the night. So I'm not going to count that. There's really only two pieces you're working around, and that's him and Jalen Green. I like Josh Christopher. He's a nice young up-and-comer to maybe consider something to go around. I like KP. I like Sagan. I like Sagan. He's not bad either. And yeah, Kevin Porter Jr. And that's probably why you didn't really want to.
I forgot that the other piece in that trade was Boban. Forgot about that.
Right.
I forgot about Boban being the other piece. Mike Brown.
Yeah.
Who are you going to draft, Mike Brown? I think it's going to be like, I'd be surprised if it's Jaden. I'd be surprised. Like, I just don't see it.
Because they're going to mess it up. They always mess it up.
I'd be surprised.
I knew it!
Wow.
So they're going to take Keegan, it sounds like.
Surprise.
Oh, my. If he falls to Detroit now.
Yeah, him and Cade.
You're going to have Cade and Jaden, and they might get Aiden. And all of a sudden, Detroit basketball is back.
We'll see.
I'm starting to like have like a little soft spot for Detroit, like watching them last year and watching Cade. I mean, they did have the time when they tried to take out LeBron. Isaiah Stewart did.
Yeah.
That was wild. So just looking at what they have here, I guess in fairness to Sacramento, as we look at their depth chart here, Dave, they got Davion Mitchell, they got De'Aaron Fox. Your power forward is Trey Lyles and you Sabonis. So technically, Keegan Murray is the safest thing and the best fit. But if you're in a spot like this and you're Sacramento, are you drafting, if you have the Sacramento pick, are you drafting for fit or are you drafting best player available?
Honestly, like I think you have to go best player available, just because you look at what they've done in recent drafts. Like they went out and drafted that kid from Duke, Bagley the third.
Yeah.
He went on drafted Bagley the third. I think he was second overall.
Yeah.
And if you remember who else was in that draft pick, or that draft, they didn't draft Luka.
Okay, let's get this official announcement.
Luka, so I'm them best player available. I go Jaden.
Okay, they did it. Wow. You know, no disrespect to Keegan. I think he's a very talented player. It's just Jaden. Jaden's such a special player.
Wow. So you got Jaden, who basically slid out of the. Wow, he's sliding. I wonder why he's sliding. It got to be something on the back end, because
I think the main reason is because, well, those top three were always going to go what they were going to go, right?
Sure. Yeah. Like,
and then Sac, I think they just decided we're just going to go for fit instead of best player.
So now it's like, well, where does he fit in? Like,
he's the power forward.
At that fourth spot?
He's the Trey Lyles spot. Yeah, so you're looking at a starting lineup of Domantas Sabonis, Keegan Murray, Harrison Barnes, Davion Mitchell, and De'Aaron Fox. I mean, it's the best fit. I will give them. They drafted for best fit. So it's the safest pick I think Sacramento has ever made. But the problem is Jaden Ivey could end up being the best player in this draft.
Yeah.
but like he's this is probably the one player I didn't watch as much film on, but he's a really good player.
Yeah, this is like to me, this is like a Marvin Bagley pick.
Kind of, man.
Good college player, can shoot it, can stretch the floor, long, athletic, but he's not. And
I was so wrong on Marvin Bagley. I thought Marvin was one of the best prospects I had seen in college, and I got that one very wrong.
He was a really good college
And it's
player.
also Sacramento has proven that they don't. Oh, they're comparing him to Pascal. I didn't see that in the tape study that I did. I got to tell you that I did not see that in the tape study I did.
I didn't see one spin move from him, so this is incorrect.
No, I did not see Pascal's. Oh, are you saying Paul George? Okay, you're saying Pascal again. Yeah, I didn't see. I just saw like a solid, like kind of big from him. I did not see Pascal Siakam from the guy. That is a wild comparison there. Yeah. So now Detroit. I mean, just kind of going to their depth chart all of a sudden here.
If Detroit doesn't pick Jaden Ivey, something is wrong.
They're crazy. They're crazy if they don't.
Yeah, they don't pick.
Yeah, because I mean, Cade's a. I didn't know Cade was. I mean, Cade. The ESPN depth chart has Cade listed as the 2. I don't. He's the
That's
1,
fine.
right?
That's fine. Well, he is in the 2. He's in a 2 body, but he handles the ball a lot. But yeah. But Jaden Ivey.
I'm just still shocked by that pick.
Jaden Ivey and Cade Cunningham. Oh my goodness. I like it.
If that's what they do, I mean, this could also, I mean, I think this is the spot where they thought maybe Benedict Moron, with the first Canadian off the board. I thought maybe
then
that was going to maybe be their pick. But either way, like getting Jaden here is a steal for Detroit.
Detroit would have 3 Canadians if they did that. Shout out Corey.
Right.
And then Kelly's yeah.
So right now, so the backcourt for them right now could, like, if they take Jaden, Cade, Jaden, Sadiq, and then Isaiah Stewart, and maybe, I mean, do you believe Marvin has any redemption to him, or do you think it's done?
I mean, he's a skilled player. Like you look at his skill package, like he can play basketball. The problem is that his confidence took a hit in Sacramento, partly because they were losing, and partly because he just didn't perform. Like he had all that hype coming out of Duke, you know.
And remember too, Dave, they are the favorites to land DeAndre Ayton. So if they end up getting Jaden, they have a chance to potentially have a team of Jaden, Cade, and Ayton. That is a team that will be at least an 8 seed next year in the East.
Should be.
Like if you look at, they're better than that's the team that's better.
I'm not that sold on DeAndre. I'm not.
Not on DeAndre, but I just think if he can just do what he needs to do with Cade as a point guard there, that's going to be. And Sadiq really impressed me last year. Remember, Sadiq dropped a 50-piece last year.
He did.
Detroit is definitely taking their time. To me, if I was Detroit, I could not run this pick fast enough.
Yeah, it's Jaden.
Yeah,
it has to be Jaden.
Unless are they going to take the risk on Shaden?
That would be crazy. Well, I mean,
okay, here we go. Their pick is in.
Super athletic. I don't know, man. This is interesting. It's interesting.
Because I mean, even though Benedict is great, I don't think you jump up here and take a Benedict. I don't think you take Shaden. Like you're a team that like has a chance with Jaden to be a possible at least play-in team next year, right?
I think Benedict and Shaden can both go around that 8 to 14 range. I can see them both going because after the first 5 picks, it's pretty much just best player available, or like it's a lot of risk involved after that, the first 5 picks.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, and there's because I mean, well, the last I would say this there's a drop off after this because Benedict I still have up there.
Yeah, like
I still have Benedict Ty, so I mean he could just fall down to the Pacers and they could have a nice little kind of backcourt there with Halliburton, Duarte, and then have Benedict kind of in the 3 there, the 1 to the 3.
He's not happy, man. He's dropped. He's not happy.
It's either is that tears of happiness or tears of anger. Let's find out. Detroit basketball.
I think he's going to Detroit, but he's probably upset that he dropped.
2022 NBA Draft, the Detroit Pistons select Jaden Ivey.
Makes sense.
There it is. Sacramento.
They messed up.
Sacramento. Man, you messed up.
I think Sacramento messed up for sure.
Man, Sacramento, you just handed a deadly backcourt in the Eastern Conference now to Detroit in the next few years.
That's solid. I like it.
That is a great pick for them. And even if they don't get Aiden, by the way, Dave, like Isaiah Stewart had a nice year last year. You got a nice veteran there, and Kelly Olynyk as well. They got a lot of cap room this summer. Detroit is back. Detroit basketball is back.
No, like what has been Detroit's biggest offseason signing? Like they're not gonna sign anybody. Nobody wants to go play in Detroit.
Well, if they do Aiden, that would be the biggest one. The last big one, I guess, is when they did the Ben Gordon and Charlie Villanueva back to back, and Josh Smith.
Yeah,
Reggie Jackson.
Yeah, that's when Reggie Jackson first came to the league.
Yeah. So there's a few of that, but I mean,
I'm a fan of this.
I love this for Detroit.
I'm a fan of this.
They have to be very happy with what they have right now. Like you have Cade Cunningham, who is, I believe, second in voting or third. Was he second or third? I can't remember to Scotty. But
Rookie of the year.
Yeah, Cade is just great. He's awesome. And now to have the backcourt with him and Jaden, like that's going to be the Detroit backcourt for at least the next 7 years.
Yeah, for sure. Should be.
So this is, I mean, Detroit, they have been in disarray really since that Bad Boys Part 2 team. And this is definitely not a Bad Boys level Pistons.
No.
This is going to be one of the more athletic Pistons teams we've seen in the last few decades.
Yeah. I like this pick. Yep, this is a really good pick for them.
Kings are going to Kings, man. They have not been the same since we beat them. They just have not been the same since Robert Horry.
Oh my goodness! I mean,
not been the same.
I don't see the jaw comparison. The only comparison
that's a little bit much for me, but I think that's his peak can be a jaw level player.
I think Jaw is more of a distributor. Like he can get guys involved. I think Jaden is just a scorer. That's the difference for me. But
no other trades just yet. I'm surprised that the trades haven't happened yet. I mean, I guess after this pick, then we will see if Portland does the Raptor trade that had been rumored.
Yeah.
Would you do that trade? Depending, like, who has to be on that board for you if you're the Raptors to consider? Does it have to be Sharp?
I think Sharp would be an interesting pick. He fills a void. He fills a need at that 3 spot.
Like I said, Indiana doesn't care next year. Indiana just wants to suck. I mean, This is the team that potentially could have Russell Westbrook in the next 2 weeks.
I mean, if I am them, not because I'm a Laker fan and I want to get rid of him, but if I'm them, I'm making the move for Russell Westbrook just because he immediately gives them, like makes them relevant. And cap room, but he immediately makes them relevant. Like right now, Brogdon is a really good player. Tyrese is a really good player. Buddy Hield is a good rotation player. Miles Turner could be gone. TJ Warren has been hurt.
He's a free agent too. TJ Warren's free agent.
Bubble, yeah. So
he won't be there. I mean, the main people they're building around here is Halliburton and Duarte. Those are the two main keys there. So I don't even think they would go. I mean, going for a guard here would be interesting because it doesn't make any sense for them to go for a guard. I guess Benedict makes the sense because it seems like you can play him at the 3.
Yeah.
So I would assume Benedict might go here. I mean, no, I don't think so either.
I don't think Shading makes sense here.
I mean, they could go off the board and go over some Dame from France who has a lot of upside.
Yeah,
let's see what Indiana does here.
7-footer, right?
Yeah, I don't know what they're gonna do here. Let's see.
With the 6th pick in the 2022 NBA Draft, the Indiana Pacers select Benedict Mathurin.
First Canadian off the board. So there's our first Canadian off the board.
Wow.
Benedict goes, and now, like you said, like
got 3 Canadians.
now we don't know where the draft. Yep. So I mean, we could have Shaden go next, right? We could have back-to-back Canadians.
Yeah. This is an interesting pick. I don't know how he fits in, but it's an interesting pick because now
they have Duarte too. Hey, so they have a Canadian on their team, and Brissett.
Yeah, let's say they have 3 of them. Yeah, they got 3 Canadians.
Yeah,
so
they got Canada's second team now,
and 2 of them are from Quebec. I think Duarte is from Quebec.
Yeah, Quebec all of a sudden is becoming kind of a basketball hub. Hey,
but it's all for as long as I've been around basketball, it's always been Ontario has been the powerhouse just because of the sheer numbers. And then it's always been Quebec. Like Quebec has always been in the conversation. They've always been in the conversation for as long as I remember back in the day, like the CJEPs were like really, really, really dominant. Like Dawson College, Champlain College, those schools were really dominant in the CCAA. So I think it's just more of the same right now.
This guy was one of my favorite athletes that I saw in the tournament this year. He's got shooting like Gilbert Arenas, but he's got athleticism almost like Tracy McGrady.
He's super athletic.
Yeah, and he's like one of the most athletic players I've seen.
And he competes. He's a dog. Like he's one of those guys.
Oh my God, yeah.
One of those guys that don't like losing.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's really, really important.
The OG comparison is not terrible for him, to be honest.
I'm not mad at it. I think the personalities.
I think he's better than OG though.
Yeah, I think personalities are different, but I'm not mad at it. OG super.
You hit on it, Dave. He is a dog. Like he will.
Yeah.
Behind that Indiana crowd, like he's gonna the Indiana fan, like that's the Hoosier country there that live and die basketball. He's gonna be one of their favorite players there because he's got even like a little Reggie in him, actually.
Yeah. He's a good pickup for them. They got a lot of guards, so I just don't know how he fits in.
Well, I think the thing is too is we're just assuming that Brogdon and Buddy are gone.
That's the thing. So with this pickup, it might mean they're gonna move Tyrese to the point, and then move Duarte.
Just do the Westbrook trade now, guys. Just Pacers. Just trade Buddy and Brogdon to the Lakers now. Just throw Miles Turner in there. We got it tonight. We're good.
If we got if we got Miles Turner and Buddy Hield and Malcolm Brogdon, I would I might run out of my house like with my shirt off. I don't know.
Yeah.
I might. Yeah, it might be one of those nights if that was.
And then we'll just sign. And then we'll sign Kyrie for the mid-level exception. We're good.
Crazier things have happened. So
that's the trade I want the most. So we're at commercial really quick here.
Yeah.
That's the trade for Westbrook I've wanted the most. Is this Pacers one of Brogdon and Buddy? That's the one I want the most. I don't really want the Charlotte deal of. Before it was Gordon and Rozier, now it's Gordon and Oubre. And I do not want Kelly Oubre. He cannot shoot.
I like Oubre just because, like, he fits the flash. Like he's that kind of.
Oh yeah, but you got to shoot with LeBron.
Yeah, no, you have to be able to shoot for sure. So that's why I'm hoping that we like. I said it last year. Like we should have made that deal for Buddy Hield.
We should have
1,000,000%. Like
we would have kept KCP.
KCP, exactly 1,000,000%. We should have made that deal for Buddy Hield. The Buddy Hield, Braun. Like, can you imagine Braun, Buddy Hield, KCP, AD, and I think by then they would have been able to keep JaVale McGee because they weren't able to keep him because they had to put the money towards Westbrook.
But that was before the year before with Mark. Because when we got Mark, we traded JaVale. Yeah. So we could have brought him back.
Yeah. But
he loved being a Laker.
Yeah. I would have loved that.
I miss JaVale. JaVale.
Sure. For sure. He gets a lot of hate because of all that Shaq and the Fool stuff, but he's
that's so long ago now.
Player. Yeah, but he's a solid NBA player. He does what he has to do. He brings you energy, rebounds the ball. He's a vertical threat for lobs. Like he's a really good role player. He knows his role, does his job. Solid. I'm not mad with JaVale at all.
We're a commercial here. So this Durant stuff. What do you think of all this?
So my biggest takeaway is he left Stephen Curry to join Kyrie.
Mm-hmm.
And now Kyrie very possibly may walk away from him.
I know. It's crazy.
I don't know if I'm going to go as far as to say I feel bad for Kevin Durant because you made this decision. You made this choice. You weren't traded away. Like you made this choice. But I feel bad for him in the sense whereas like I sincerely feel that he's a winner. Like he wants to win. He loves basketball. He wants to win. But I think he's just so caught up with like Twitter and social media that he has bought into that whole thing where like, oh, I gotta win on my own instead of just saying I'm just gonna win.
Portland, they take
Shaden back to back.
Okay, so is that going to the Raptors though? That's the question. So now I will check Twitter. And is that pick going to the Raptors?
Back to back Canadians.
Yep.
Solid.
Okay, so it sounds like for now at least they're keeping that pick. But he could be the steal and the best. We've said this for two players, right?
Yeah.
I think between Jaden, him and Jaden have the two guys out of the top three to be the best player in the draft. Now at this point, now it's a crapshoot.
Yeah. He fits in really well with them.
Yep. He'll probably go to the 3.
Yeah, they just picked up Jeremy Grant. So they're going to have two really, really athletic wings to go along with Damian Lillard and Anthony Simmons. So I like this pickup for them. I don't know if it's enough to keep Dame
happy.
We'll see.
I forgot they had Eric Bledsoe.
I didn't even know that they had him. I don't watch
him. And Chris Dunn. I like Chris Dunn. I'm one of the few Chris Dunn supporters left out there. Ben McLemore, I think he's a free agent, but I liked him. Made a cup of coffee with the Lakers a year ago. He shot the ball pretty good.
We saw the Lakers.
Winslow's there. Justice Winslow's a decent defensive player. They do like Nas Little there. The problem is with Shaden is he is the idea. I mean, look where his footage is. It just looks like he's in a rec league game.
Yeah, it's just all AAU stuff.
Yeah, that's the problem. Like, it's so hard to judge what his talent is, but like you can see like how good this guy is at basketball.
This right here is in Phoenix. Like I've been to this gym. It's in Phoenix, but like,
is it okay? Thank you.
Yeah, all this stuff is just AAU stuff, man. All AAU.
Jeez.
But he's super athletic. Like you look at him.
Oh my gosh.
Super athletic.
I mean, they have not. When was the last time Portland? Yep. Who was the last like really good wing for Portland? Was it Brandon?
Brandon Roy, yeah, but he wasn't super athletic, but he was a great player. No. Yeah. He was a great player for them. But
the last athletic one was probably Rudy Fernandez.
Kai Drexler.
Oh, Kai Drexler. Yeah, there you go. We're going that far back, eh? Multiple Canadian players in the drafts. We got Anthony Bennett and Kelly Olynyk. That one's not so great. Andrew Wiggins and Nick Stauskas, who were both in the finals.
They both played in the finals, yep. This is a good pickup for them.
So now we get, at this point now.
Who knows after this?
I would just take Johnny Davis here if I'm New Orleans. He's just a professional scorer.
Yeah.
If I'm them. Or do you want to kind of shore up the... Go ahead. I was going to say, do you want to shore up the forward spot? I maybe take Jeremy Showan here if Zion's hurt again, and because Jeremy Showan is just a grit and grind, he'll knock you the F out player.
I think they got to just have the hope that Zion is coming back to what he like coming back healthy, and I think they got to go with another guard scorer or another wing scorer because I think they have CJ at the 1, but you don't want CJ playing the 1. You don't really want.
No, I mean they could go and take Dyson Daniels. He's another unknown. He's an Australian player.
Yeah, either they need a guard and move CJ to the 2, move Brandon Ingram up to the 3, and then that's your kind of roster, or they go with another wing scorer to just have multiple threats on the wing. I don't know, but
this was the Lakers pick, by the way.
Yeah.
So I got to say, as a Laker fan, there's players that I would like to have had in the Lakers, but I'm not overly if Benedict was still there or something like that, I'd be like, oh shit.
Could have had him, yeah.
I'm not oh man, we should have had him. I'm not that upset at this where this is. I'm I'd rather have all these Anthony Davis than any of these players.
Yes, me too. I'd rather have
championship.
A healthy AD in a championship. I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
I'm fine with it.
Yeah. I think they're going to take Dyson Daniels because, again, I think they're in a position, they're a playoff level caliber team, and they can take a risk on developing a player. So, and Dyson makes the most sense at that point.
If Zion is healthy, they're to me they're a fringe playoff team. They're a 6, 7, 8, 9 team. If Zion is healthy.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're higher than that just because the West is going to be so strong this year. But
well, you mentioned Clippers back, Nuggets are fully healthy.
Clippers are back. Nuggets going to be healthy.
2022 NBA draft. The New Orleans Pelicans select Dyson Daniels.
Makes sense.
So they go with Dyson.
Makes sense. Yeah. Guard.
I'm still shocked that we have not had a trade yet.
Yeah. Well, it's probably because there's no after the first 5 to 8 picks, it's a lot of just guessing. So
yeah,
why do you want to your pick can drop to you? There's not a whole lot of substance after those first 8 picks to me, anyways.
So they go Dyson Daniels, and like we said, we looked at their depth chart here. I don't know why ESPN. I'm changing this ESPN because I do not like their depth chart because Brandon Ingram is not a 2.
Yeah. No, this.
He's never been a 2 in his life.
No, this makes sense. This moves. This has BI to the 3, and now you can go him and CJ with the ball in their hands. I don't know if he's gonna start right away, but
no, like I said, they can send him down to the G League even, Dave.
Yeah, they can develop him,
They have no rush of anything they have to do with him at all. They're completely fine, just holding off on him.
Yep. Good court vision.
Okay. So, we got San Antonio next, so we know we're going international. Or off the board. Remember last year they took Josh Primo, the Canadian.
I was gonna say I think they might go back. I think they might get the guard from Gonzaga, Nemhard.
Oh wow!
I think they might go Nemhard.
Well, so this is what they have right now for the rotation.
Might be a little shock, but because the rumor is that they're thinking about trading Dejounte Murray to.
Yeah, what are they thinking?
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's so crazy.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
but that's the rumor. So. I don't know.
Yeah, Josh Primo didn't really play last year for them. I guess their weakest spot for them is probably the 4, where Doug McDermott is. You don't really want Doug McDermott as a starter anymore.
Dougie Buckets.
Yeah. You don't really want that as much anymore. Yeah.
He was great.
He was so great at Creighton.
He was great.
I could see them take Osam Dane as well. Another Aussie. We could go back-to-back Canadians and we could go back-to-back Aussies.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
This is the part of the draft where everyone's just
or they could take Jeremy Sohan here. Jeremy Sohan. I mean, I personally, at this point now, I kind of want Sohan to fall to the Knicks. I really want Sohan to fall to the Knicks. I don't know if that'll happen.
Why the Knicks?
Just because he's such a gritty kind of player, and in MSG, they'd love him there.
They would, but I don't know, man. Knicks are just a horrible franchise. Horribly run franchise. I don't wish anyone to go there. Like, like the franchise is just that bad. Like, I like Julius Randle. I like RJ Barrett. I like Quigley, but they're being run to the ground, man. Like last year, like I couldn't believe all of the 20-point games that they were up and they lost last year. It's crazy.
Yeah, I can't either. The Spurs again here. I mean, you could be going into this year. I mean, they were a play-in team last year. The Spurs are always going to be at least around that area.
Sure.
This could be Pop's last year, I think.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't he say it was coming up to his last year? Like, didn't he already
Yeah.
Thought he did.
By the way, they just showed a guy there that I heard that might be slipping, and that's Ty Washington from Kentucky. I'm hoping him or Patrick Baldwin can fall to the Lakers at 35. Those are two, because I don't even care what position for the Lakers that they pick. I just want one of those type of guys to fall to them.
Young athletic blood. Yeah. I
the 35th pick, and this is the highest pick in the LeBron era.
Is it really?
I think so. Because the last one, because they didn't have a pick when they traded for AD, and then we traded our pick last year for Russ. So unless we trade it, this is the highest pick we've had in the LeBron era, is pick 35. It's funny, like when you're in the moment, Dave, you're just like, trade those picks, and then it gets to draft. He's like, man, I need some picks.
Yeah, picks. Yeah, like when you have top 5 NBA talent on your roster, it's not about draft picks. Like the only team that does that where they value their draft picks really, and they have a top 5, top 10 player on the team is Golden State. Everybody else is just like win now. Like Bucks built, but they went on and picked up Chris Middleton. They went up and picked up Brook Lopez. They went up and picked up Jrue Holiday.
Yeah.
Jakob.
Yeah, I don't really know. I think they'll go with Dane here or Sohan. That's my pick. And you're kind of just going by, I mean, for them, I think you just take the best player that they think is available too.
Yeah.
I mean, they could take Mark Williams from Duke as well. I mean, because do they want to trade Pirtle?
Yeah,
they could get something for Pirtle on the open market.
Big. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't know. Like their roster is such a work in progress. It's such a mess.
Mm-hmm.
They can literally.
It's the power of Pop, isn't it?
They can literally pick up anybody and it'd be a solid pick for them. Like pick up anybody they can fit in. So like this pick makes sense why it's taking so long, because it could just be anybody. And with Pop, like you never know. Like he's probably gonna go international, probably go Deng, but who knows?
That's why I said I could potentially see him go Deng. I could see him go Sohan. I mean, if they take a point guard, then if you're a DeJounte Murray fan, then hold your hats, because that's something going on. The interesting thing was DeJounte Murray going to the Hawks is weird, because then do you put him to the 2 then?
That doesn't make sense to me. Like when I seen them, like why would Atlanta do that? Like I get why Portland does that. I mean, Spurs does that. I get why they do it, because they want a 4.
John Collins.
So like I get why they would do that, but I don't get why Atlanta would do that unless you have another trade where you're gonna move the Murray to another team.
Yeah.
Doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense for Atlanta.
Because he's a natural point. He's not a 2 guard.
He's a point guard. Like look at his numbers: 21, 8, and 9.
Yeah.
He was like a fringe all-star last year.
It's pretty impressive why this entire starting lineup averaged double digits. It's pretty impressive, I must say.
They got 7 players averaging double digits.
You're right. Yeah, because Josh Richardson as well. All right, let's go to the pick.
The San Antonio Spurs select Jeremy Sohan.
He called it.
Well, Pop's going to make him really, really good. So Sohan, when he played against my Tar Heels, and if you remember, Carolina was winning that game by 29 points, and then Brady Manick got fouled out.
Yeah.
He was a big reason that they came back. His defense, his intensity, he is a grind. He's everything a coach wants. And I mean, we should have just kind of figured this is everything Pop all over it. He'll do everything for the team type of player.
Yeah. This is like, as I said, like they got so many holes on their roster. They could have picked anybody and they can fit in.
It's the best fit for them, for sure. He doesn't need to shoot the ball. They have shooting with Keldon and Devontae, and Vessel can shoot the ball as well. And it's the Spurs. As long as Pop's there, I can't count them out. It's kind of what we're dealing with the Patriots right now, right? I look at that Patriots roster. I'm like, this is trash. This roster is not good. But it's like, well, Belichick's there.
I don't know. I'm not impressed with the Patriots, but
yeah, I'm not either. I'm just saying it's just that's the level. And you see, they're going to show the Carolina game. And here's the versatility side too in that game, right? He ends up guarding Amon Bacot, the center for the Tar Heels. He takes RJ Davis, the 2 guard. He takes on Caleb Love. You've seen him guard RJ Davis in the last clip here. He took on all the Tar Heels guarding them and was a big part of the Baylor Bearcats coming back. And I believe he's also a national champion. So he has pedigree in that side. He's been deep in the roster? Final Four.
On that roster? I said he was on the national
champion roster? Yep. So I love this pick for San Antonio. Actually, I got to say, so far, I hadn't had a problem with anybody's pick other than Sacramento's.
Yeah.
I like Keegan Murray. It's just Jaden's so good. Oh, got Spike trying to talk to people. Okay, anyways, so we get a little bit of a break here with the Wiz. We got 4 picks left, and then we're going to end our live stream. So thanks to people that have watched. Some of our guests wanted to come on, and they've been, unfortunately, a little bit tied up with other ventures. So I do appreciate you making time for everything today, Dave.
All good, man. All good.
But the Durant stuff again. Do you see him in Brooklyn next year? Or do you think that this whole thing is about to unwind?
I think KD will be there for sure.
Okay.
Kyrie, on the other hand, if he does not pick up his extension by the 29th, I think he's gone. Because I do not think Brooklyn will give him a long-term deal. I think he's gone. How he goes, I don't know. Like, I do not see Kyrie walking away and picking up like a MLE. Like, I do not see that happening, even though he's proven last year that money is an option for him. Like, he doesn't care about money. But I don't think you're going to leave 30 million on the floor. Like, last year, I think he walked away from 15 million. Okay, cool. He could pick that up.
17 by not getting vaccinated.
He could pick that up in shoe endorsements or whatever,
Yeah.
I don't know if he's walking away from $30 million.
No.
So I think what would happen is it would probably be a sign and trade. I don't know. Him going to Clippers scares me a lot.
Do you want him? Do you want him for the Lakers?
If we can get rid of Westbrook, I've always said this. Like, people think I'm joking, but I would trade Westbrook for wet tissue. So, if we could pick up Kyrie and get rid of Westbrook, I am all.
Here's the thing for Kyrie is, remember that Boston series, for the first 2 games, 3rd and 4th, he quit. But for those first 2 games, holy shit, he was good.
Yeah, for sure. Like, Kyrie's skill, everything on the basketball court, like, every team in the NBA wants Kyrie, the basketball player.
Yeah.
Every team wants the basketball player Kyrie. Where Kyrie gets the problems with is Kyrie, I don't say problems, but Kyrie the person, Kyrie the human, Kyrie the off-court person, that's where his value drops, right? Because the biggest thing with Kyrie is just you just don't know if he's going to be available. If Kyrie was available every night and he was, and he had the same stance and he was the same off-court person, Brooklyn would pay him money. Brooklyn would give him the 5-year deal. Well, because he is what he is off the court and he's not available, You can't as a business pay him for a long-term deal. It's that's bad business, you know. You're investing in somebody who is never available. Like I think I seen a stat the other day that he, over the 3 years that he's been in Brooklyn, he has missed more games than he's played. That's crazy to me. Like that's crazy.
Well, that's why it's kind of funny with Durant. Like I wonder if Durant should try to get his exit strategy, even if Kyrie does want to stay.
If Kyrie wants to stay, I think Durant. I think you ride it out because I think Brooklyn can be very good this year. I think Brooklyn can be very good this year. People like you kind of touched on it earlier, and I've been talking to people for a long time. People forget how good Ben Simmons is as a basketball player. He might not be a great scorer or a great.
He adds something that they haven't had, which is defense. And if you have Bruce Brown back too, that's two really good defenders. You got Joe Harris back.
Yep, coming back healthy. Like I think Brooklyn slides right into. Like that third spot, you know, like I think it's Bucks number 1 in the East. I think Miami's gonna take a step back. I think Boston's gonna be right there at 2. I think Nets will be
Raptors will be around there.
I think Raptors could be up there. Like
Wizards.
Nets are right there, man.
The Washington Wizards select Johnny Davis from the University.
Professional scorer Johnny Davis, great pick. He just scored the ball.
I mean, he's solid, but like I always have issues with Wisconsin guys. Ever since Frank the Tank, like great college guys, and they come to the NBA and it's like, what the hell are you? Like you're not nothing.
And then Eric Decker never panned out, did he?
Like Wisconsin guys, man.
All respect to the Wizards. That's great. We're gonna go back and talk about the Nets. Yeah. I mean, you look at this roster, right? Like. I forgot they had Seth too, right? Yeah. And you have Nick Claxton, who's a nice center, backup guy there. They got Bruce Brown, Joe Harris
is gonna slide right into that 4 spot. You're gonna have Andre Drummond, Ben Simmons. So so defensively they'll be good inside. KD, Seth Curry, and if Kyrie stays, that's a really good lineup. And then you got. Yeah, Patty Mills and Seth Curry off the bench who can shoot the ball, who don't need a lot of players run for them, but they can shoot the ball really well. Cam Thomas, I think he didn't get enough playing time last year. Like he had great games.
No, I think he can shoot
he had great games. Well. I don't think he got enough playing time. I like Nick Claxton off the bench, just because he provides you like kind of like that JaVale McGee. He provides you athleticism. He provides you rim protection. Provides you energy off the bench. I think they back off that they either trade or release both Blake Griffin and Marcus Aldridge, and then you got Joe Harris at that 3 spot. So you got 3 guys coming off the bench who just shoot the ball, you know. So and then you got Bruce Brown who can play the 3 and the 4, you know. So
I think they're in a pretty really good spot.
Team. They're you bring back Kyrie, you're fine. Like you can make a run next year. But if you lose Kyrie, then I think you lose Durant the following year.
Well, let's go across the subway, across the city. Let's talk about those Knickerbockers. So, by the way, Mitchell Robinson's a free agent, so they may be looking at center here.
Big, yeah. So they may go after Duke.
Yeah,
the Duke big.
Mark Davis.
Solid big.
Yeah, I mean they may. There's no real good point guard on the board for the Knicks at this point. No. I don't think they could go for Agabagi from Kansas.
I think you hit the nail on the head. I think they need a big right now. But I think they got enough guard play. They got Kemba Walker. They got Derrick Rose. They got Emmanuel Quigley. Like they got enough guard play. Cam Reddish, RJ Barrett, Evan Fournier, Alec Burks. Like those are solid guards, solid wings. I don't think they need that. I think what they need is a presence inside who's going to rebound the ball, you know, be a threat. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, the Knicks, they could take AJ Griffin, I suppose, but I think Mark Davis, like you mentioned Mark Davis, the Duke center. Yeah, that may be what I'd want to do. They could also take Dane from France, which I don't think any New Yorker will be happy with.
No, not at all.
I don't really know who New Yorkers want right now with this pick.
Like you look at their roster, they got so much talent on this roster.
Mm-hmm.
So much talent, man. Julius Randle, 20.
Mitchell Robinson's going to be interesting, Dave, if they can re-sign Mitchell Robinson or not, because he only made $1 million last year, and he's one of the more underrated defenders in the league. And he's a free agent. He's not an RFA, he's a UFA. So he's going to have his choice of where he wants to go. And I don't know if it's going to be back with Tibbs in New York.
Yeah. They got to get rid of Tibbs.
I think this is probably the last strike for Mr. Thibodeau. Let's go and find out who the Knickerbockers. You gonna go with center?
I would go center. Yep.
Yeah. I don't know who they want. Like normally, there's a guy here that you're like, oh, that's who they want. I guess AJ Griffin's the best player, and he's a Duke player, most known.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, like if there was a solid point guard on the board, you can go pick a point guard up and move off of Derrick Rose or Kemba Walker, because they're both injury-prone guys who you don't really need. You don't need both of them on your roster, especially if you have Quigley. But there's not a real great point guard available unless you say, okay, we really trust Andrew Nembhard, but he can't really shoot the ball, so we'll see.
Georgia. And they weren't happy with it.
They went France. Okay.
Boo, we don't know who you are.
They did the same thing to KP. They
did the same thing to KP. Yeah. I mean, although could Knick fans be having flashbacks to Frankie Smokes? Being like, oh no, not another French guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a very interesting player, Usman. He's got great athleticism,
prospect,
great wingspan.
I don't know what this means. I don't think you can play him with Julius Randle.
No, this makes a lot of sense if you plan on your future being RJ and him.
Yeah. Because like I don't know. Julius Randle.
And the thing is, Dave, they did not need to sign Julius Randle last summer. No, they did not need to. They could have let the contract expire this year and see what happens.
Yeah,
they jumped ahead.
They're going the money for that dude.
Oh well.
Moving forward, and Oklahoma City is back on the clock at number 12.
Wow. OKC traded some of the.
So that makes more sense for OKC now.
Yeah.
That changes everything now. Let's go back to OKC then.
Yeah.
As for OKC, I love the pick. You get Chet and Dang. That's a great draft for OKC.
Yeah. That's really good. Yeah, you got
because now all of a sudden
guys with size, skill.
You can put him right. You can put him. I know you said you don't want Chet at the 5, but you can kind of put those. They can go back and forth between the two of each other.
You can put him at you could put Deng at the 3. I think because he has
good. I mean, Dort will probably go to the bench. I'm guessing. Hey, you put Dort on the bench. You put Dort to the bench. You put Giddey. I would put Giddey to the 1, SGA to the 2, and then
you like they have options now. They have options. I don't think Chet can play the 5, but if they put him at the 5, that would be an extremely small, spread out lineup. But he would get punished inside. He would get punished.
It's kind of funny in some ways. I think that Johnny Davis, the Knicks would have been the most happy with him potentially if they would have had him.
Yeah.
But they don't get him, and then they trade back, and we're just trying to find out what multiple picks that they are trading back for. So the Knicks traded multiple picks, and we don't know exactly who and
the Knicks
what
did,
the multiple picks they got.
Thunder did.
The Knicks.
Thunder traded the picks.
So the Thunder traded this for multiple picks. First round picks. I mean, they have the ability to do it, so they must have been high on Dang.
Yeah, because they got like picks until whenever.
forever,
2050.
eternity. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, interesting pick there for OKC as they continue to, and they might even do a Euro stash with him, to be completely honest.
They could, yeah.
The interesting thing is, I mean, did they think that the Knicks were going to take him? Because they were one pick behind the Knicks.
That's interesting.
So they must have had a conversation that the Knicks, because when it happened, you weren't sure if that was a Knicks pick or not.
Yeah. It wasn't.
So that's interesting to me. Interesting. So got two more picks to go here, and then we will be wrapping you up for the lottery. So far, okay. So who's been your favorite pick so far?
Favorite pick so far probably would be Shaden Sharp to Portland.
That's a very good one. Yeah.
Yeah. I like that pick. I like the upside that it could bring. I think with them getting Jeremy Grant, they become uber athletic now. Like you got two guys who are like 6'8", 6'10", super athletic, can shoot it, can be defensive presences. That's probably my favorite pick. But I think the safest pick of the draft, I think, is Chet. I think he's the safest pick. Him, well, it's a tie between him and Jabari. I think Chet fits in with the Oklahoma small town theme and like that whole thing. But I think Jabari fits in right away with what Houston needs, because like they just got rid of Christian Wood and Jabari fit. He just slides right in. He's a cheaper Christian Wood. Interesting, and the Paulo draft is like, that's surprising to me, but he's talented, so I'm not upset at it. It's just I didn't think he would have went first overall, but
that's the one that seemed to kind of catch you off by the most.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I didn't see that
one.
Coming.
I don't think you fully knew that was going to come.
No, I didn't see it coming, but you can look at Paulo and know that he's talented. Like he's not going to be I don't think he's going to be a bust. But he's talented. I don't know. With like for me, like I always said, like if I have number one pick, I'm not guessing on anything. Like that guy has to be ready to go and he has to be a dog.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
You even if he's not talented, if he's a dog, he's eventually gonna turn himself into something. Like look at Giannis. Giannis came in, he was nothing. In like 2 years, he put on like 25 pounds. You know, you look at Giannis's draft day photo and his photo from last year. It's like
so little.
Yeah, two different people. It's like that doesn't happen if that guy is not a dog. If that guy doesn't hate losing, that doesn't happen. You know.
You're not wrong. Right. Well, the Knicks are on the clock right now again.
With the 12th pick in the 2022 NBA draft, the Oklahoma City Thunder select Jalen Williams from Santa Clara University.
Okay, that's a bit of a reach.
Yeah.
But this guy has so Jalen Williams went to Santa Clara. This is what you asked for before, David. This is the point guard.
Yeah, guard. Mm-hmm.
So he has been raising up charts. He's had a really good combine, and he's had really good like meetings with teams and whatnot. Mm-hmm. So I'm not shocked to see him sneak into the lottery for the Knicks, and they get the guard that they wanted to get.
Interesting. Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, you'll get to see a little bit of tape on him here. Tell me what you kind of think. So he's a 6'5" guard. He can play the two. I think more naturally people might have him at the two, but he can also play the point a little bit. He's got a good pick and roll game, as you can see. He can shoot rather well. He's got a bigger body, though, so you could almost put him more. I almost sometimes look at him, when they label him as a guard, he has a wing type of body, though.
A wing, yeah. I see wing.
Yeah.
40% from three. That's very solid.
Mm-hmm.
So this pick supposedly goes to
This goes to the
the
Knicks.
Knicks.
Yeah. So yeah, interesting pick by the Knicks there.
Yeah,
They
very
get the guard they want. So I mean, in some ways, I kind of like the upside of Deng for them more. I think Williams is fine, but I like the upside of Deng more.
Yeah.
But
18
they
picks,
wanted to
that's
go with this. This is
ridiculous.
what they wanted to go with. So
18 picks in the next 5 years. That's
isn't that
ridiculous.
wild?
That's
I'll
ridiculous.
get Woj.
Have a trade? No.
Yeah. So just a nice solid pick there. And now we have two more. This is where, I mean, so we go to Charlotte. And Charlotte has such an interesting offseason. Number one, they're the most linked team to Russell Westbrook.
Yeah.
This year.
I don't think they'll do it though, because you don't want to take the ball out of LaMelo's hand.
Yeah, I think that does more damage for you than it does good.
Mm-hmm.
But they want to also try to free some room up because they want to try to re-sign Miles Bridges.
Yeah.
And he wants the max, and it sounds like they may not give him the max. So
he's not a max player. But he might be a max player for Charlotte, because
for Charlotte, yeah.
For Charlotte, but he's not a max player.
There's you look at this rotation here, they kind of just need a little bit of almost everything except Melo. Like if they let's say Miles gets an offer for the max, are you matching that, or are you going to let him walk?
No, I'll let him walk. I'm fine with having him walk, because I think with LaMelo, like LaMelo has one of those personalities where I think people will eventually want to play with him. He just has one of those like exuberant personalities. You could possibly just slide Montrezl Harrell into that 4 spot for the time being. So I'm not.
Well, if Trez plays next year, because now he has all the drug stuff, right?
Yeah. That's also something very true. Yeah. But I'm not panicking and paying him $100 million. Like I think you should offer him a healthy contract.
Yeah.
Like don't lowball him, but
I could see Mark Davis. I could see Mark Williams here at the Duke Center.
Yeah, that can work for sure. Yeah. I could see that.
They don't have a solid option. PJ Washington's a free agent. How much do you want to pay PJ Washington?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So they have choices of guys they want to pay here or not pay.
And then you have
that's the question I have.
Of Montrez. I think
Mm-hmm.
Mark Davis helps him.
Yeah. I'm interested to see here what they do, because Charlotte's such an interesting team, and they don't even know who their coach is right now, right? Because Kenny Atkinson left.
It'll probably be who was the other person that they had? I was reading the other day. They had 2 coaches who were the finalists. It was Kenny Atkins and somebody else. Who's the other person?
D'Antoni.
Yeah, D'Antoni. Yeah, that was the other one.
Yeah. The other one, I can't remember who the other one was.
I think it was only two finalists that they had, but they might have brought somebody else in. Well, I think that I was reading was only D'Antoni and Kenny Atkinson.
They're in a really interesting spot right now, Charlotte, because they're like good enough to be a play-in team, which we've seen the last 2 years.
Yep.
But they're not good enough to make it past that.
Yeah, I mean, like you look at the last 2 years in the playing game, they've gotten smoked. I think they lost to Indiana one year by like 40, and then this year I don't know how much they lost to. It was like at least 20 that they got blown out by. So they're 2 pieces away. I think they're a decent center away, and they need another a backup scoring option.
Yeah,
at the guard spot. So
we will find out what they do. I mean, they could go really. AJ Griffin makes sense here. Mark Davis makes sense here.
Mm-hmm.
Baram from Ohio. They can pretty much go. They need almost anything but point guard.
Yeah,
like
that's
every player is replaceable but point guard. I would go center. I would go with Mark Davis from Duke.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I would go with, because there's a chance you're going to let PJ Washington go. Plumlee, it's fine, but I think you need a dominant center.
Plumlee's not starting NBA center. He's very serviceable. No. Like he's similar to what's that dude's name who used to play? Went to North Carolina. Tyler Hansbrough.
Psycho.
Yeah, he's similar to Hansbrough in the sense where it's like he's just gonna go out there and do his job. He's gonna work hard, set screens, rebound. He's do his job, but he's not starting center.
It's like Jalen Duren from Memphis. We forgot about Jalen Duren. So they do go center. And they take Jalen Duren from Memphis. Yeah. They have one more pick, and then we will be wrapping up the pod here. And then we'll bring you back, Dave, when we get to free agency and trade time. Unless if the Westbrook trade happens, Dave and I will be having an emergency podcast.
I'm ready. It's not if. Like, I think Westbrook is going to be out of here. It's just a matter of time of when, not if.
Yeah. It'll be an emergency podcast if that happens. I'm preparing for him to be a Laker next year. Really? I think we have to be under that. You're going to be disappointed if you don't have that around you.
I'm going to be super. If Westbrook is still on Lakers, I'm going to be super disappointed.
I would just assume he's going to be a Laker next year, just to not get yourself too caught up.
Bam out of
and maybe, who knows? Maybe Coach Darvin Ham can, change things up for him.
All right. If you tell me Westbrook is going to come off the bench, I'm going to buy in. I buy in right away. If Westbrook comes off the bench, I buy in. But Westbrook and 180 can't be on the court at the same time.
Move on to the Cavs. Cavs
are interesting.
Three guard, three spot. Here to replace Markkanen.
Interesting because I remember Sexton was hurt last year, so I think I really like Sexton. I really like.
So Oroko might be the three, right?
Yeah, but like Markkanen played well last year. Like they got talent. Like they were a top 4 seed in the East last year before all the injuries and stuff, right? Weren't they? Do you just take AJ Griffin here? I think he has to go best player available and just fit him in.
Yeah,
I think so because I really like maybe they could use another backup point guard, but you got Rondo there. But I think they're really talented. Really talented. I really like Colin Sexton. I think him and Darius Garland can be great together. And then them stealing Jarrett Allen from the Nets, that was a steal.
Oh my gosh,
that was a
steal.
Just
throwing in. We just throwing to them.
Was a steal for them getting them.
What was that about? That was ridiculous.
Nets are idiots.
Oh my gosh, are they ever?
Because they gave away Jarrett Allen and then they spent the rest of the year trying to find Jarrett Allen. Trying to find a guy who would give them what Jarrett Allen gives them. So that was dumb.
Pretty silly. If I were them right here, I'd take AJ Griffin personally.
Yeah, I think you're best player available. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
then Charlotte goes back on the clock after, but that will be it for us. And like I said, we'll have Dave back. If a Westbrook trade or Laker trade happens, we will be on it this year. All season we'll be covering Laker stuff on everything. And then just kind of going. I think for the first 2 weeks of free agency, I might do a show every 2 weeks. So see where Dave can make that and whatnot. And fun time though. Thanks for coming on and doing the show tonight.
No problem. I always enjoy talking hoops. So this is fun. This is fun.
It's look at my pick. I almost wish that we would have stayed on maybe to the Laker pick, but I was like, I'm not staying on to the 35th pick. No. We'll have a chat about it afterwards, I'm sure.
Oh, this guy from Kansas is pretty good too.
Yep. Oh, I know about it. He beat the crap out of my Tar Heels. Yeah.
Pretty good. So he might be option.
He was at one time, Dave. He was like a high pick. Kennedy Chandler, by the way, too, is another guy I hope falls to the Tar Heels. Jaden Hardy is another guy. I'm hoping that Ty Washington can fall to us. I'm really hoping Ty can fall to us. I don't think that's happening, but I hope he does.
I don't know. Yeah, they're talented. And I can't believe how Colin Sexton is a very, very good player, but he was just hurt last year. But
they missed his
there's-
scoring down the stretch. Like
the
you said, like
scoring,
they started off
yeah.
so great, and then they missed his scoring.
But like rumors are is that they're trying to get rid of him, but I think that's horrible to do.
I think that's dumb. Yeah.
He's so good for what they want to do.
Oh, I agree. Garland got a little bit caught up in double teams and stuff at the end of the season too, and in the playoffs, you saw that they lost those 2 play-in games that really hurt them. And not having Jared Allen beat up Jared Allen, and Mobley kind of hit the rookie wall.
Yeah, but like as you said, the playoffs, like teams started to hone in and kind of like trap Garland and get the ball out of his hands. Having Sexton there, having another ball handler, having somebody else who can create, who's a scorer who likes to go downhill, like that would have helped them out a lot. But,
yeah. We don't have a second pick next year. I wonder, like, would you trade into like to Charlotte or someone now and give? I mean, I wish we could almost just do like, we'll give you THT and our second, and then get like one of these rookies. So we get out of the THT deal.
I'm not. Let's see. Yeah.
Okay, Ochai Abachi.
Yeah. He can shoot.
There you go. Good call, Dave. Yep.
He can shoot the ball.
I wonder what that means for Sexton then.
Yeah.
I wonder what that means for Sexton.
Yeah, they'll probably move off him because there was talks that they were trying to move off him last year.
Yeah,
and Ochai can shoot it. He has
you.
length. He has athleticism. So he fits in just like a Karis LeVert kind of.
Yeah. Interesting. So a lot of questions that will be answered. Thanks everyone for following us. Thanks to Coach for jumping on here, and everyone enjoy the rest of the draft. Until next time, folks. Cheers and enjoy the day, people.